The movie begins with Pan, a young lady who sits in front of a mirror doing her makeup. Afterwards, she proceeds to write a letter, presumably a self-destruction note. Pan then goes over to her bed with a knife in hand to commit the unthinkable, but suddenly, she hears a tremendous bang outside, prompting her to stop what she is doing and peer out the window. To her shock, she witnesses a man free fall onto the roof of a car and die. The scene then cuts to a busy shop where a movie scriptwriter named Dami is seen searching for a horror movie to watch. Dami always wanted to become a writer because his parents wrote his name so badly. However, the shop owner Nita suggests that he relax and watch some soothing films instead. She also teaches him to laugh maniacally as it helps to let out stress. Later, as Dami is buying some movie discs from the shop, he comes across a leaflet called "Who Are You?" He curiously asks what it is, and Nita suggests that he look it over, claiming it contains the secret to happiness. Following this, Dami heads over to a bookstore, where he surprisingly runs into Nita again. This time, she invites him to her home, and he happily accepts. But as they arrive, he feels uneasy in the dark interior, filled with several animal exhibits. In the next scene, Nita offers him snacks, and the two talk about her son Tom. It's revealed that the boy has not left his room for the past 5 years. As Dami tries to process this information, suddenly they hear a thud coming from Tom's bedroom upstairs. However, Nita completely ignores it, and Dami also departs. After this, she goes upstairs and reassures her son that Dami was only a visitor, and that he meant no harm. The next day, Pan sees her mother with another man and becomes enraged. It turns out her father died recently, and this is the main reason why her life has been spiraling out of control. In the afternoon, Nita is seen buying groceries in the market, when the street vendor strangely opens up and expresses her discontentment with her life. Upon hearing this, Nita gives the woman the same "Who Are You" pamphlet and suggests that she pay a visit to the address on it. Nita claims that it will improve her life. The movie then cuts to a flashback, where Nita is shown calling Tom for dinner. Unfortunately, he is too absorbed in playing computer games and refuses to come out of his room. This frustrates Nita, who unplugs the computer in an attempt to bring him out. However, this only leads to Tom threatening to harm himself if she doesn't leave him alone, revealing the deep emotional turmoil that he's been struggling with. It's just a bit of dork rage. He'll be fine. Back in the present, Nita attends the Who Are You meditation center, where she, along with many other members, take part and listen in on the instructor's advice and experiments to gain better control over the mind. In the meantime, Pan vents her disappointment with a friend online about her mother's dating habits and about how her father had died. At the same time, Dami sees an advertisement on TV about hikikomori syndrome, which is a condition where children withdraw from social life and isolate themselves in their rooms for extended periods. Furthermore, a public announcement about the condition also addresses the fact that the people who have this syndrome tend to sleep during the day and are active at night. I'm starting to think that I have hikikomori syndrome. Shortly after, the director of the film company that Dami works in enters his office and reads the script that he has written. It is then revealed that Dami has already written a script and based it off of Tom's life, who has been confined in the room for the past 5 years. However, before accepting the script, the director tells Dami to get Tom out of his room to film a TV show. Dami immediately accepts the offer and meets with Nita. He brings up the hikikomori syndrome, which he suspects is the root cause of Tom's condition. He then proposes that the boy star in his new TV show, hoping that it will help him overcome his struggles. Dami also points out that Nita's overprotectiveness may have contributed to her son's condition. The latter is initially hurt by his comments, but with a little convincing, she agrees to the offer. However, when Nita tries to get Tom out of his room, he refuses and shockingly slides a threatening note out of his room, written in his own blood. Damn, Tom raised the stakes. He also sends his severed finger on a piece of paper, worrying Nita. Goddamn, he raised him again. Despite this, Dami is still determined to get Tom out of his room, and he bangs on the door demanding him to open it. This leads to a heated argument between Dami and Nita, which soon escalates into a physical fight. In the chaos, she falls down the stairs and gets knocked out. As Dami rushes to help her, the door to Tom's room suddenly opens, and he is pulled inside. After this, the evil boy knocks Dami over and brutally eliminates him with a butcher's knife. In the 60s, we had and today we have Nita eventually regains consciousness and sees Tom coming down the stairs with the knife in hand and a bloody towel covering his face. She slowly approaches him and takes off the towel, when all of a sudden she jolts awake in her bed, revealing that the whole thing was a nightmare. Meanwhile, Pan looks out her window and notices policemen going around the place, as it turns out that a robbery had taken place last night. Her mother arrives soon after and reminds Pan that she has a doctor's appointment later the same day. It's then revealed that Pan has a severe allergy and that her condition has forced her to stay home most of the time. It is also revealed that Pan and Nita live in the same neighborhood. So, 2 police officers arrive outside Nita's house to question her regarding last night's robbery. They enter the home and are immediately creeped out by the eerie animal sculptures lying around. The officers ask Nita about the weird decorations, to which she simply states that they belong to her deceased husband, who was a zoologist. The same afternoon, Nita luckily rescues Pan from a near-death experience when a bike almost runs over her on the road. Later, she meets Pan's mother and finds out about her allergy. So, she hands over the Who Are You brochure, hoping it would help cure Pan's allergies. That makes no sense. However, assuming that the whole idea is voodoo and nonsense, the old woman dismisses the matter. A while later, when Pam is still alone at home, Nita pays her a visit. She finds out that Pan has read the brochure and tries to convince her about the power of the mind. She even hypnotizes Pan for a brief moment and teaches her how to gain full control over her mind so that she can achieve happiness. After a while, Pan comes out of the trance and shares her delight in learning the meditation program. But then, she suddenly inquires about Tom's condition and whether or not he is still confined in his room, leaving Nita unsettled. The movie then shows us a flashback where Nita expresses her frustration to her husband about the dirty state of their home. She is even more angry about the fact that her son refuses to get out of his room. As their argument escalates, Nita storms off into her room and goes through her husband's bag. To her shock, she finds suspicious lingerie, along with photographs of her husband with other women. Nita immediately confronts the man regarding this, but he responds with physical violence. As all of this unfolds, Tom can be seen observing them through a hole in the floor of his room. Back in the present, Nita engages in a conversation with the Who Are You meditation center trainer lady. She shares her recent and recurring nightmares that have been affecting her lately, to which the trainer responds by saying that it might be the result of Nita's lingering thoughts and emotions. She then suggests that Nita should accept her previous pain and trauma that she has been supposedly suppressing within her. Afterwards, Nita heads to her store, where she meets with 2 foreigners looking for movies. When she finally understands what they are looking for, Nita gets frightening visions of her dead husband, prompting her to close up shop and head home. Following this, we are taken to the first scene of the movie, where Pan writes her self-destruction note and prepares to end it all. Meanwhile, a random delivery boy enters his apartment room and climbs into the attic. It turns out that he is there to take several photos and videos of Tom from above. As he snaps a picture, he shockingly discovers an eye staring at him. In a state of panic, the delivery boy tries to hurry back, but only ends up falling into an adjoining room, alarming all the neighbors, including Pan. He then attempts to run away from the balcony, but a neighbor, mistaking him for a thief, shoots him down. This causes the delivery boy to fall onto a car below, killing him on the spot. Pan sees all of this through her window and is taken aback. However, she gets even more worried when she realizes that her cat has gone missing. So, in order to look for it, Pan decides to step up to her allergy and venture outside on her own for the first time. Initially, she has trouble walking, but then she remembers what Nita had told her the other day about controlling her mind and becomes confident. After a while, Pan eventually reaches Nita's house and enters it in hopes of finding her cat. She luckily does find it, but instead of returning home, she decides to inspect Tom's room. To Pan's horror, she comes across a smelly, decaying corpse on the chair. It appears as if the boy died long ago. Disgusted and terrified by the sight, Pan hides behind the stairs quickly. In the next scene, Nita finally returns home, but learns that she has been followed by a man. She quickly rushes inside her house, but the man manages to get inside. It is then shockingly revealed that the man is actually her husband, who turns out to be alive after all these years. In another flashback scene, Nita confronts her husband after finding out about his affairs. She points a rifle at him, threatening to shoot, but the man is unfazed. Unfortunately, during their argument, she accidentally lets off a shot from the rifle, inadvertently hitting Tom. The couple immediately rushes to the boy's room, but it's too late, as he has already died from the gunshot wound. Meanwhile, in the present, Nita's husband tries his best to convince her that Tom is dead, but she refuses to listen to him, thinking that her son is alive and well in his room. So, to prove himself, the husband makes his way up to Tom's room, where he discovers the boy's decaying body in front of his computer. The corpse is placed in such a way to seem as if he is playing games. Unfortunately, before the husband can make sense of the situation, Nita ambushes him from behind. This immediately kills him, and his falling body pushes Nita down the stairs. The entire scene is witnessed by Pan, who nervously watches through the bathroom window. She eventually comes out, but is suddenly chased by Tom's deformed alien-looking corpse. Pan quickly climbs up the vent in order to escape, but the brittle ceiling of the apartment quickly collapses, leaving her hanging onto a wire. The resulting debris causes a sharp object to fall onto Nita, and she lays there, injured, reminiscing about one of the nights when she and her husband are celebrating their son's birthday. On the other hand, the destruction of the roof exposes Tom's corpse to sunlight, and as a result, he is reduced to ashes. The next day, it's revealed that Nita had been placed in a psychic ward due to the mental illness she had developed as a result of her son's death. It also turns out that Pan's mother had undergone the same mental illness as Nita. The movie ends as she sits outside her door, asking for her favorite food, Sunny Nut Cheerios. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.